The greatest mistake most married couples make is to be doing timed intercourse and not even understand how to calculate their ovulation period and the best time when they are fertile. So Chioma, whose husband works in Ghana, was around in the clinic a few months ago, and she seriously complained of how they have been having timed intercourse, but the thing no dey gree dey enter. They have not been scoring goals. And I had to ask her a lot of questions on how they were doing it and why they were actually doing timed intercourse. She said because her husband is currently working in Ghana and he usually has a few days in a month for them to have intercourse. So they have to plan it in such a way that she has to either come for home game or the husband will need to come from Ghana for a away match. But the problem is they have been trying this for over 6 years and she's yet to get pregnant. So I decided to ask her what exactly does she mean by timed intercourse. And it will surprise you what Chioma told me that she was doing about calculating ovulation time. She got it all wrong. And I think they were just having intercourse when they were really not in their fertile period. In as much as I encourage you to have intercourse as much as possible as you can, if possible, once in every 2 days, whether fertile or no fertile, after all, intercourse is not only for pregnancy, it also helps to increase the bond in the relationship. If you do not have enough time, like Chioma's own, then you can go for timed intercourse. But before you focus on timed intercourse, you need to know exactly when you are fertile so you can plan your vacation around that period and have the best sexual intercourse during your fertile period. But before I show you how to calculate your own fertile period, let me show you one of the most important mistakes that Chioma made while calculating a fertile period. The first mistake Chioma made was that Chioma had a problem understanding the calendar. Yes, Chioma did not understand the calendar we are talking about. So look at these two calendars. It is quite difficult and almost impossible for your menses to start on the 1st of any month. Let's take, for instance, your period starts on the 10th day of January, as you can see here. So your first day of your menstrual cycle is January 10, and your cycle continues till 28 days after January 10. So the first mistake she made was that she often assumes that January 1 is the first day of her menstrual cycle. So you could see she was just calculating and doing whatever she felt like doing. And she felt that on 14th of January was her ovulation day. So she assumed that 14th of every month was her ovulation day, which is wrong. So you need to understand that every cycle is special and your calendar is the most important part that you must have in your room. Make sure you mark the first day of your cycle on the calendar on the wall in your room, or if you are using a mobile phone that has a good calendar, you can mark the day on your calendar in your phone so that you can monitor how your cycle goes and be sure of what days of the month your cycle starts, what day of the month is expected for you to be ovulating, and what day you are expecting to see your menses again. When we say 28-day cycle, we're talking about day 1, day 14, and day 28. We are not talking about that day 1 of the calendar month. We're talking about day 1 of your own menstrual cycle. So if your menses starts on January 10, or it starts on January 20, or it starts on January 28, that particular day is day 1 of your own menstrual cycle, and you start your own calculation from that day. So they're confused like Chioma did. The second mistake Chioma did was Chioma assumed that our cycle is a 28-day cycle. But we both sat down and we analyzed our last periods for the last 6 months. Take note, 6 months is the minimum you can use to calculate the average duration of your own menstrual cycle. When we used the last 6 months, we found out that Chioma's cycle was actually not 28 days, but Chioma's cycle was actually a 34-day cycle. So you could see that while they were planning to have timed intercourse, things were not really working well because they really did not know the exact day of Chioma's ovulation. Looking at this chart now, Chioma has a 34-day cycle. You will see that if Chioma was to have intercourse according to what she was assuming that her cycle was a 28-day cycle, and she and her husband were having intercourse on day 14, it means that they were having timed intercourse too early. Our ovulation day is actually day 20 or day 21. in her 34-day cycle. So I asked Chioma if her menses has been regular, and she said yes. I also asked Chioma to provide me the first days of her menses in the last 6 months. And this was what Chioma gave to me. Now, looking at this, you will notice something very interesting, that between April 10 to May 4, you will realize that our menstrual cycle is about an average of 34 days. Now, I want you to take a look at this chart which I drew for Chioma. This chart explains exactly when she starts seeing her period to the end of her period. It also explains when her ovulation likely would have occurred. Depending on your cycle length, we can calculate the most likely time of your ovulation, which is 14 days from the end of your menstrual cycle. And for you to be able to time it accurately, it means you need to have a regular menstrual cycle for us to be able to calculate the approximate time when your ovulation will occur and for you to start having sex during that fertile window that you have. So after teaching Chioma all these, I asked her to go into the world and preach the good news and multiply. And before I forget to tell you, I received a call from Chioma and her husband a few weeks ago. And after that, I had to call my tailor immediately to sew me one very nice agbada because they have decided to give me a front seat in the naming of their child. And they even said I should bring the name that I want the child to be called. Some people are telling me that I should name the child Dr. NZ, but you can even suggest what name you want me to call the child. Before I go on to the next gist, please put in the comment section your top 5 topics that you want me to address as soon as possible. I will address it on the first come, first serve basis because I want to treat your own matter first. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you want to continue enjoying this clinic gist, and please watch this video now.